Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am coming to you live from Redondo Beach, California, and I'm here to chat all things AEW Dynamite, and it is a good one. But before we get into all the craziness that happened, allow me to introduce the amazing people I get to chat with today. We just have me, just Jack Farmer today. That's right, you get to hear me chat for the show, but it's not just me. In the booth is Rye Guy. Rye Guy, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, man, I am psyched to hear all about AEW. We just came back of NXT. I know we can't talk about that network here, but I'm psyched to hear Redondo Beach is fine. I thought the beaches were closed, but it looks like you're still there. I'm curious, are you breaking the law? What's going on, Jack? Fill me in.
The law can't control Jack Farmer. I go where I want, when I want. Just so happens to be I'm at my place. But I could be out in public if I wanted to, but I don't want to. I'm doing my due diligence and I'm staying home.
True.
But that's not what the show is about. The show is about a show, and the show is AEW Dynamite. And overall, this was quite a jam-packed episode. Lots of stuff happening. I know some shows are slowing things down. They're taking their time to get where they want to go during all this stuff, but not AEW. They are keeping the gas pedal down. And this episode in particular, I noticed sometimes wrestling is about what you see, and sometimes wrestling is about the subtle things that they're trying to tell you. And this episode had all sorts of the subtle little things that they are trying to tell us. Right off the bat, we had a special commentary team. We had Tony Schiavone, who we're obviously used to, one of the legends, one of the best of all time. But with him tonight was Le Champion himself, Chris Jericho. And what they're telling us with this, they're not just saying this is a fun little pairing. They're not just doing this randomly. The show is telling us something, people. They're telling us. But what are they telling us? They're telling us that tonight is going to be a fun night. Tonight's going to be a loose night. It's going to be a little silly because Jericho is a little loose. He's a little silly. He likes to have fun with things. Now, he's definitely a great wrestler. He's the leader of the Inner Circle. He's very dangerous. But at the end of the day, Jericho's a fun guy. And that's what we got. He was all glittered up in his sparkly jacket, wearing cool gloves, social distancing with style. As he said, he likes sparkly things. It's show business, baby. And that's what we got. That's what we got from Jericho tonight. Also with that, we had a crowd. Well, the wrestlers were the crowd, but the crowd was more animated than normal, if you may have noticed. They were yelling during matches. They were getting involved. Again, AEW's telling us that this isn't about seriousness. This isn't about all the COVID stuff that's happening. It's about letting loose and having fun. And the most important part about it, Jericho, obviously, again, being on commentary tonight, he was acting not like the serious, I want to be the world champion guy. He was acting like an incredibly excited fan the whole time. He was getting into matches. He was saying things that I would say as a fan if I were on the commentary table. Again, AEW isn't doing things randomly. They're not just throwing things out there to see what works. They're trying to tell us something, and they're telling us to sit back, relax, have a good time, and be an enthusiastic fan like Chris
Speaking
Jericho.
of enthusiastic fans, Jack Farmer, we got a ton in the live chat right now. Joseph Boza, Zeno Hour, Haywood Wong. Guys, I'm checking out the live chat. They're psyched that it's Jack and Ryan is what I'm seeing. This is Jack Ryan. We're shadow recruits
Jack
right now.
Ryan.
Holy cow.
That's our tag team name, the Shadow Recruits. I like it.
I love it. I'll be monitoring the live chat, though, if you need anything.
Yeah, Ryan, if you could do me a huge, huge favor, if you see any good questions or comments or things like that, please let me know. I'd love to interact with everyone today. I know people love to hear my voice, but I like to hear the voice of the people. You know what I mean?
You got it.
Speaking of the voice of the people, the top story of the night, the biggest part of the night, was that main event. We had Cody versus Shawn Spears in round 1, match 1 for the TNT Championship Title Tournament. But again, what was AEW trying to tell us? We start the show with Jake the Snake, but what's Jake the Snake saying? He's saying the whole time, Cody, I think you might slip on a banana peel and you might lose to Shawn Spears. Why is he saying that? Because Shawn Spears, he's been lost for a little bit, right? Like he came in strong. He had a feud with Cody back 8 months ago, but then he's been a little bit lost. And right now, they're saying right at the top, don't count Shawn Spears out. Just because he's not as big of a star as Cody's been, he's still someone to be dangerous and still someone who could win. And they reiterated that throughout the night. We got a couple of video packages. First, this really great promo package right before the main event where we re-see everything with Shawn Spears hitting Cody with the chair, putting the divot in the back of his head, one that left a scar with him again. AEW's telling us Shawn Spears is no joke. Shawn Spears is not just someone who's been lined up. They're trying to tell us, they're reminding us, they're keeping it top of mind. Shawn Spears is a very dangerous, very important star. And I think what we're going to see more of is Shawn Spears going forward. I think this is the start of a huge, huge push for the guy. Something they also try to tell us is they had some interviews with Cody. And throughout, Cody was saying things like, I'm not allowed to go for the world title. It's very romantic for me to have an opportunity at the TNT Championship now. So what are they trying to tell us with that? First off, they're fronting it. They're not pretending like all of us on our little Twitter accounts aren't talking about this is his chance to get a title. He made a title so that he can be a champion. But I don't think he's going to win. I think the fact that they're fronting this is them telling us that he might have some difficulties. They're creating that little bit of doubt in the back of our head, those subtle little things that make us ask ourselves, is he going to win? Even though he's the favorite, will it happen? Well, folks, we saw the episode. We know what happened. We get to the match, and all sorts of fun stuff happened. This is a really good wrestling match. And what I mean by that, lots of good holds, lots of good moves, lots of old school wrestling stuff happening in this one. And just real quick, I want to talk about Shawn Spears, man. He has some really cool tights. He's got a cool texture on there. I know we don't have Jessica on. She's our runway person, but he definitely had some cool tights on. I appreciate the addition of the texture, Shawn Spears. It went noticed. It did not go unnoticed. That is for sure. And we saw a lot of Shawn Spears being more than just a guy who wrestles good. He's very dangerous. He was doing a lot of things like getting the guardrail involved, getting the tables involved, but he wasn't just being a reckless, hardcore guy throwing out chairs and moves and things like that. He was being very calculated. He came across very calculated, very dangerous, very smart wrestler. And I think that's something we're going to see a lot more of. And it plays into this whole chairman angle where he uses these weapons, but smartly, not just John Moxley deathmatch style, but he sets them up in a way that can really make him a dangerous person. He also had a quick moment where he sort of bumped up with Billy Gunn, who of course is in a tag team with his son. I think they're also teasing a little bit of a tag team scuffle in the future for old Shawn Spears and Billy Gunn, which is something I think we would all love to see because both those guys are good at the tag team stuff. Something Jericho said, I loved it. Cody Rhodes tried to do some roll-ups and things on old Shawn Spears, and Jericho said, you're not going to beat him with that artsy-fartsy stuff. Again, trying to tell us that Shawn Spears is very dangerous. Shawn Spears knows what he's doing. Of course, it wasn't enough. Old Pineapple Pete got involved, as Jericho called him. A lot of shenanigans, a lot of flim-flam happened throughout this match. And as they said, Audrey was using playoff rules, not letting a DQ ruin what could be an amazing tournament match. I love that kind of stuff. I know some purists are like, throw it out. Why is the referee letting this happen? Look, I'm a fan of wrestling. I like fun stuff happening. So I liked watching all this stuff happen and not getting it thrown out. I say let them play. That's what they should do with these matches. So Cody Rhodes, obviously, did really well. He won the match, but something that really stood out to me, it was a repeat a little bit about something that's happened before. And Cody Rhodes hit the crossroads and he picked him Spears back up and hit the crossroads again. This is the second time Cody Rhodes has hit his finisher twice in a row on somebody. And I think we're about to see a much more vicious, a much more angry American Nightmare than the one we've seen in the past, because he's not just trying to win, he's trying to hurt people. Of course, this wasn't enough. Shawn Spears kicked out. Then we saw Cody Rhodes put the figure 4 on. And again, I think I'm beating a dead horse here. I think Shawn Spears kicked out because AEW is trying to tell us Shawn Spears no chump. He can kick out of a crossroads. He can kick out of 2 crossroads, but the figure 4, which is looking like it might be Cody's new finisher, is the thing that gets the job done. But Shawn Spears didn't tap. Shawn Spears got pinned, which is really weird, but it's showing us that Shawn Spears doesn't quit. Shawn Spears keeps coming. I'm telling you guys, I'm repeating this again and again because this is what AEW is telling us. Shawn Spears is a big deal. He's a great wrestler, and there are big things coming for him, even though he fell short in this tournament. Of course, that means Cody Rhodes moves on, and he's going to face the winner of Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara, which is going to be a really great match. They didn't say when that one's going to happen just yet, but I think that's one we all circled on our calendars for what's going to be a really, really good match. Other things that are really good is things like AfterBuzz TV. So let me take a minute to tell you where you can find us. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see me even counting these off. This is where we have to ask for a little bit of help from you guys to help keep us the ESPN of TV talk. And that's hit the like button, write a few comments, hit the subscribe button, and most importantly, tell your friends. And this is where I got a big, big favor to ask you guys. Gotta be honest. On iTunes, we got a bad review. I got a bad review. They made fun of me. It hurt my feelings. So I'm gonna ask you all, Ryan, can you believe it? They made fun of me. They talked about me. They talked about your boy, Jack Farmer. And I think the only way to right the wrong, I think the only way to make me feel better, for me to sleep at night so I can look old Mama Farmer in the eyes and say, Mom, I'm doing a good job. You guys go to iTunes. Give me a 5-star review.
5-star.
Say some nice things and take that comment and just bury it down. Bury some love. I would love that. Do it for me. Do it for Rye Guy in the booth. Do it for Mama Farmer. We could really use those 5-star reviews. It's how we keep the lights on, really.
Do it for moms, guys. Do it for moms.
Do it for moms. If you have a mom somewhere out there, leave a 5-star review.
Joseph Boza, I'm looking at you, dude. I'm looking at you. Okay? iTunes.
Yeah, Jobo. Hit us up with a 5-star review. Listen, I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, we're going to wait, and then we'll read it on air.
Then we'll read it on air. Speaking of promos and paying the bills and all that good old-fashioned stuff, Matt Hardy came out with a promo that I'm sure everyone loved because it was Matt Hardy. It was fun. It was silly. It was all broken Matt Hardy. I think one of the lines of the night, something I think a lot of people are going to be quoting and talking about on Twitter, is when Matt Hardy said, Sammy Guevara calls himself a Spanish god, but he's a false god, and he's probably a false Spanish, which I think was just hilarious. But the real takeaway of this, of course, he had some fun banter. Again, what did AEW tell us right at the top? It's going to be fun. It's going to be a silly show. We're going to do a lot of fun stuff throughout. Matt Hardy cut a fun promo. He had Vanguard 1, his drone, fly in with a shirt, and he brought the wrong shirt, and they were going back and forth. But this ended with a challenge that I'm sure people are going to be absolutely excited about. Matt Hardy challenged Chris Jericho to an elite deletion match at the Hardy compound. This is not the first Hardy compound match that we've seen. He's had them before. They're always wildly entertaining. And I think WrestleMania with their Boneyard match and their Firefly Funhouse match, they have upped the ante on these cinematic wrestling experiences. And I cannot wait until Matt Hardy and Chris Jericho put their spin on the whole cinematic wrestling match experience. I think it's going to be huge. I think it's going to be so fun. It's going to be wildly entertaining. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. If you guys think that that's going to be a fun one, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know when it's going to happen. Maybe at Double or Nothing, whenever that happens. But I think that's going to be so fun. It's going to be so silly. It's going to be so wild. It's going to be probably one of the most exciting matches that AEW's done in a long time. But speaking of exciting matches, I think we had possibly the greatest female match in AEW history right here tonight amid no crowd. It was still great. First off, we had Britt Baker going up against Hikaru Shida, and we need to address Britt Baker real quick. Britt Baker is so natural in her condescending role. She is literally becoming one of the best natural villains in wrestling because it seems so effortless. It doesn't seem like a character. It seems like she's just legitimately a condescending jerk. I loved the moment when Shida was down and out in the ropes and Britt Baker just kind of sat down and leaned next to her. It was a really fun, silly moment. Again, Britt Baker just being kind of a goof the whole time, but still being that character. And it started off with Britt. Most of her offense was her leaving the ring and trying to get away, doing the real cowardly villain thing, but also getting in offense. That is until Shida. Shida, by the way, one of the hottest female wrestlers going right now, racking up wins left and right. She got Britt Baker in the nose pretty hard. I think that nose is broken because she was bleeding dark blood out of her nose the rest of the match, and you could almost feel like a switch flip in the doctor. You could feel it happen where suddenly she started going for broke, and these two really, really went at it. It was an absolutely stellar match. If you haven't seen it yet, it's kind of weird you're watching this show first, but that's okay. Finish this show, then go back and watch Dynamite. It was a really, really stellar match. Both of them look good. Britt, again, I got to give credit. She hit the Famouser and then stared down Billy Gunn in the crowd because she used his move. She doesn't even care if you're in her division. She's going to condescend you as well. And in fact, Hikaru Shida, she got the win here. She's getting pushed to the moon. In fact, she had a great match against Anna Jay, who was in the crowd tonight. And news broke, huge, great news. Anna Jay did so well in her match previously that they've now signed her. She's now all elite. We're going to see more of Anna Jay. I'm excited to see that. But, man, I think Shida has forced herself into becoming the face of the women's division in AEW wrestling. I've been saying it for a while. I've been saying it for a few weeks, maybe months. Time flies. But AEW's women's division went from something that needed a little work to quietly becoming a very stacked, very dangerous, very good division. And there's a lot of talent there. I have a feeling that this rivalry between Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida is not over. I have a feeling that this is going to build. And I think they're going to be the two that are at the biggest show of the year, having the feud of the year in the women's division. These two are so good. I could watch it a million times. I can't wait to see more of these two. Britt Baker, though, really, obviously, I was really blown away by today. Just her character work was so good. In fact, even the promo afterwards with the dry blood on her face and her saying, she does a dirty fighter. What she did out there was no good. And then she said, I'm a dentist, so even if she busted my teeth out, I could fix my own teeth. That's just fun. It's good stuff. If you don't enjoy that kind of stuff, I don't know what you're doing watching wrestling, because wrestling's about fun stuff. This was fun. AEW said it was going to be fun. All good, all around. Something I got a question, by the way, on Twitter, and I wanted to address it. It was a great question from @J_Hager79. Joseph, he asked, do you think real Britt Baker made herself a star tonight? I gotta say, yes and no. And what I mean by that is this was her best performance. This was definitely her top performance. But I feel like ever since she went to the wrong side of the tracks, she has just been slowly building herself up and making herself a bigger and bigger, more dominant star. Who would have thought that someone who's an inspiration by being both a real-life dentist and a pro wrestler is someone we grew to hate so easily? It's a really cool thing. I think she is a star. Was this the exact moment? I don't know if it's the exact moment, but I think she's definitely part of that upper echelon of women wrestlers. Absolutely, for sure. And as we go to the upper echelon, as we go to the top, let's talk about the top of the card itself. The biggest prize in AEW, the AEW Heavyweight Championship of the world. Jon Moxley and Jake Hager have a match next week. It's no holds barred. And this is something that AEW did so well. They did so well. They had 2 promos for this, 2 packages where the 2 guys are talking about their big match and how important it is and how big it is. What were they doing here? What were they telling us? Again, what's the theme of the show? It's things they're telling us that they don't explicitly tell us. And right now, what they are telling us is that not only is Jake Hager a legit world champion type contender, but they're trying to tell us, look, this is Jon Moxley's first defense. Is it likely that Jon Moxley is going to lose? No. But what it's telling us is, how in the world will Jon Moxley put down a guy like Jake Hager? And that's something I think we're all kind of shrugging our shoulders going, I have no idea how you beat a guy like that. I love a line that Jon Moxley said was, look, I hit him with my finisher. I put him down, and before I knew it, I was in an ankle lock, and this guy came up like a monster and is choking me out. They're telling us everything Moxley's done before ain't going to be enough. It's not whether or not he's going to win. Again, what they're telling us is you need to tune in next week to see what Jon Moxley has to do to stop one of the biggest, strongest, and most dangerous men in all of wrestling, Jake Hager, next week live on AEW Dynamite. Jake Hager, lots of character development today. Lots of stuff I love to see. I love one of my favorite lines. He says, I'm a prize fighter. I don't want to be champion for love of the sport. I want to be champion because it pays more. And it was such a simple little thing that wrestling doesn't do enough. They don't talk about how much guys make for winning or losing. It's such a simple thing to make me care more about these matches. He wants to win because he's money hungry. And of course, we see as the show goes on, his wife says, his own wife says, I love this. She says, we're a house of winners. So if he doesn't come home a winner, he doesn't come home. By the way, Caitlin, Jake Hager's wife, I don't know if she has a deal with AEW, but she seems like a star as well. She was fantastic on screen. She came across great. I would love to see her coming out with Jake Hager going forward. I thought she was a fantastic character. We need to see more of her. I thought she was really, really amazing. You guys let me know what you think about Caitlin in the comments. As always, I'd love to know your thoughts. If you think maybe we should see a little bit more of her. But this is going to be a no-holds-barred match. That means someone like Anissa's probably just chomping at the bit to see the terrible things that Jon Moxley does to Jake Hager. But Jake Hager, I think he's gonna come hard. He's gonna come fast. It's gonna be a big, big match. And again, I can't wait to see exactly what Jon Moxley has to do to stop Jake Hager from taking his world heavyweight title. It's gonna be a bloody one, I think. It's definitely one that is worth tuning into. So definitely make sure to check it out next week on Wednesday, AEW Dynamite. And we're going to see a dose of reality, which Jake says is spelled Hager. Next up, we got a Dark Order promo. I love the music for the Dark Order, by the way. Brodie Lee just has this like end of a video game boss music, and it's so cool. He comes out, he drives up looking sharp, dressed in a suit, and he approaches a couple of his creepers, and a couple of them are just normal. One of them's wearing a tie. And he talks about how the guys who aren't wearing a tie, they look like anybody else. They don't look like they're standing out. They're not trying to be great. But the guy in a tie, he is. That's why I wear a tie, ladies and gentlemen. I always say I'm part of the Dark Order. I want Brodie Lee to come let me get an opportunity. So he takes the guy inside. What for? We don't know. He just said it's an opportunity. That's what keeps us going. That's a tease, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to have to see what happens with that. But didn't stop old Brodie Lee from coming to the ring and wrecking a poor dude, Lee Johnson, in a match. And, I can't help but think that when this AEW video game comes out, Brodie Lee is going to be the most fun character to play because he's got the coolest moveset. He does so many cool things. My only gripe is it doesn't feel like his outfit really matches his character. He's always wearing a suit outside of the ring. He's always looking sharp, dressed, tailored, nice. And then he gets to the ring and he's got this weird, like, kind of outfit that doesn't look like it fits him. That's my one gripe. Don't tell him I said that. He'll kill me. But lots of big things, I think, coming for the Dark Order. They're actually one of the top-ranked tag teams as well. So big things coming for those guys. As we continue on down, one of the funner parts, again, this whole episode was fun. It's about fun. We had a promo, Kenny Omega with Michael Nakazawa. And they're hanging out in the trailer, and they're trying to figure out a name for their tag team. And this was really good. Again, what are they trying to tell us? Not just what are they showing us. They're trying to tell us with this that Nakazawa and Kenny Omega have been a tag team before. They've done this before. They're good at this. They're not just a randomly thrown together tag team. They're trying to tell us this stuff. They say they want to call themselves the Best Friends, but they already have a tag team called the Best Friends. So what happens? Orange Cassidy walks out of the bathroom randomly, and the Best Friends come in, and they are none too happy about having someone try to take their name. So again, what happens here? Who's the mad one? Trent. Trent was angry. Trent wasn't just like, hey, we're buddies. He was really mad. They had a really good barn burner of a match last week. What are they trying to tell us? Trying to tell us that Trent and Kenny, they've got something. They got some more stuff on the line here. This is going to build, I think. They have their match. And again, this is one of those matches where you think to yourself, of course, the Best Friends are going to win. They're a real tag team. Michael Nakazawa doesn't win that much. But they keep us guessing, right? They keep us wondering, like, are they really going to win? No, what's going to happen here? And again, Trent, super angry, coming in hot, going after Kenny Omega. Again, I think we're on the verge of seeing Trent break free and become a singles guy. Maybe not a friendly singles guy either. I think we've got big things coming for Trent as well. Best spot of the night, though, Michael Nakazawa shoots the baby oil at old Orange Cassidy, but he's got sunglasses on, so it doesn't hurt his eyes. Then Nakazawa takes the sunglasses and walks away, and Orange Cassidy pulls out another pair and gets shot in the face again. Tons of interference in this match. They should have thrown this match out, but I don't care. It was fun. I loved it. This was a really, really fun match. Again, the whole match was kind of silly. Lots of fun, silly stuff. What have I said the whole show? AEW's telling us this episode's fun. It's silly. It's crazy. Just relax and be a fan. And if you did that during this match, then this was probably one of the most fun matches of the night for you because they just had fun out there. It was silly. It was goofy. Didn't like that they all hugged at the end. I kind of wanted Trent to give a knuckle sandwich to the cleaner, but maybe another time. As we go down, there was one match that was pretty straightforward, and that was Lance Archer versus Alan Ingalls. Of course, we had a promo at the beginning of the night, as we talked about, Jake the Snake. Jake the Snake quickly reminding us all that he is one of the best promos in wrestling, period. He is incredibly serious, incredibly believable, incredibly sinister. Some of the things he was saying about his client, Lance Archer, he said, would you stand in front of a train? Would you jump out of a plane without a parachute? He's very good at making someone like Lance Archer, who's already scary, come across even more scary than usual. And it paid off because Lance Archer comes out and he has a match, and he did something. He did a choke slam suplex, I guess is what you'd call it. He threw this guy around. Lance Archer, what I love about Lance Archer is he looks scary. He's big, but even if you've never seen him before in your life, you see that long hair with the red in it, you already know this guy is bad for you. He's going to hurt you. He's going to hurt your favorite wrestler. And in fact, he even stared down poor Marco Stunt. Poor Marco Stunt, practically hiding behind the barely there crowd. But Lance Archer, again, this guy is just building up a resume as he goes into the TNT Championship tournament and looking like he's just going to walk through that whole thing. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. He certainly doesn't like Cody Rhodes, so maybe those two are going to be on a collision course. I think if you predict those two in the finals, it's a pretty safe bet. But I liked that, his opponent got a little bit of offense in. Not too much, though, but I thought Allen looked good, by the way. Alan Ingalls, give him a shot. I think it's got to be tough to judge these guys without a crowd there, but I thought he looked good. I'd like to see more of him. Also, fun note, Danny J in the crowd, who I got to watch some tape on for NWA Power. So if you check out that episode, Circle Squared, by the way, from NWA. And it's good to see her there. Again, what is wrestling telling you? She was on NWA. Now she's on an AEW show. If you could buy stock in a wrestler, buy stock in Danny J. She's going places. That's what they're trying to tell you. That's what's happening. So buy stock in her. Anyways, we're winding down a little bit here. And as you know, we always get to the final part of the show, and that is Elite of the Week. Right guy in the booth. So we start at number 5 and we count down from there. So starting at number 5, we got Matt Hardy. Delete. That guy is so entertaining. Didn't even have a match, but I think as soon as you hear he's going to be on, you want to watch the show. He's clearly meant for big things. We've got a Elite match coming up at the Hardy compound. He is going to be one of the most watched guys in all of wrestling for the next year at the very least. And at number 4, we got Britt Baker. I talked about her a whole bunch already, but I'm going to talk about her a little bit more because she is quite the star in the women's division. She's the backbone of that division, not just the jawbone, not just the teeth, the backbone. I am telling you, she is becoming one of the fastest rising stars in that division. Lots more good stuff coming from her, I can tell you that. Number 3, we got Lance Archer. He's choke slamming people over his head. He's staring down people in the crowd. He is the most dangerous looking dude I've seen in a very, very long time. And I am terrified to say he's not this high up on the list. Number 2, we got the boss man. We got Cody. He is the first to move forward in the TNT Championship tournament. And come on, his promos are golden. His matches are golden. What was the last thing he did that wasn't amazing? He's got to be number 2. And number 1, folks, it is Hikaru Shida. She is beating everybody left, right, up, down, front, center, back, forth. She is becoming the face of a division that is growing and getting better. It's one thing to be the face of a division. It's another to be the face of a division that is continually getting better week in and week out with you leading the charge. And I think that makes her one of the most valuable players on the roster in AEW as a whole. And at the very least, she's number 1 on the Elite of the Week this week, right now. That was your Elite of the Week. Elite of the Week. So, an amazing show. I loved it. I love what AEW is doing. All the news reports are saying that they have taped shows up through at least mid-May, which is always great to hear because it means I don't have to worry about all these shows stopping suddenly because of some bad news. I get to be entertained, which is always a good thing. And I think AEW is doing a bang-up job along the way. But that's it for us. Before we sign off, Rye Guy in the booth, you want to go ahead and tell everyone where they can find you online?
You guys can find me at Ryan Nilsen. Yeah, you can find me at Ryan Nilsen on Twitter and at Ryan Nilsen, NILSEN _ on Instagram. Check out Star Wars News every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Jack, where can they find